Hello, Like Mother, Like Murder listeners. We quickly wanted to tell you all about Safely, a company for all women by women. Safely was created by 4 amazing ladies whose goal is to empower women everywhere to live their best lives, offering resources and self-defense products to help you feel confident and prepared.
In addition to their pepper spray and their sidekick, Safely also offers resources and safety tips. Go check out their website at livesafely.co. That's L-I-V-E safely.co. And if you use our code, LikeMother, at checkout, you will get a 10% discount. Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
How did a wife and mother of 3 go from her life with a $2.5 million home, a vacation home in the Caribbean, a private jet, to spending weeks in a Bahamian jail known for its horrible conditions? Lindsay Shiver was accused of plotting to kill her husband, and today she is still waiting for trial. How did her life change so dramatically?
Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
We bring you the good,
The badass,
and the crime.
This is Like Mother, Like Murder.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Like Mother, Like Murder.
Give me an L. You gotta say it.
L.
Give me an I.
I.
I'm not gonna do the whole thing.
That was long.
But you guys know where I was going with that. It's gonna be really good.
That was going to be really good. It was going to be the longest intro we've ever had. I was like, is she really going to do this? I love how the first one you said it and I just sat there staring at you. You're like, you have to participate, Rachel. Hopefully everyone that was listening was like, ow!
Yeah.
Welcome back, guys.
I
Hello.
Want to see that. I want to see everyone in their cars or however they listen. Ow!
Yes.
No, Heather, keep going.
What does that spell? L-I. Lie. Just kidding. Okay.
Lie.
Everything is fine. You guys, we are coming with the hype mode today. Hype mode this morning. We've got lots going on. Heather was just sharing something with me, you guys, and I feel like she needs to share this with all of you.
So, in case, I do need to share it because I need to make sure that if you guys do hear the helicopter in the audio, you know why. There is a bear that was last spotted, last I checked, about a mile down the street in an industrial, park, just kind of
she's in
gallivanting.
Chatsworth, California.
Yeah.
Might want to say
This
that on
is
the
the
podcast.
San Fernando Valley. This is not like rural,
It's not Richmond,
Sequoia
Kentucky, guys.
Park. Yeah. Yeah, because you saw a bear too not too long ago. But I was telling Rachel, we need to double check with Amanda as to whether or not this is a apt analysis. But apparently this bear, so he's attacked bear. And he's actually been out of his natural environment for over a month now. And then a few weeks ago, there was a fire that lasted for a while, kind of up in the foothills. And I have a feeling that fire kind of pushed him down this way. And now he's literally hanging, they actually found him last night in someone's backyard.
Absolutely.
And I have a feeling he's looking for water, a pool, something of that nature. So, and I can't tell for sure, Amanda. I should have listened more carefully to the polar bear episode, but I think it's a black bear because he's a little bit smaller and he doesn't I think it's a black bear.
It looks like a black bear in the clip that you sent me. So
yeah. Which is good because that means they're a little less aggressive, right? I think that was the thing. The black bears are the lower aggressive ones. Amanda's going to be like, no, Heather, no, you're getting this all wrong.
We shall call her.
And then, no. But I hope they'll be able to, like, get him back to where he needs to be. Yeah. He doesn't need to be wandering around. And I feel really bad because he showed up last night, probably, you know, when he probably crossed the freeway when it wasn't super busy. But, you know, unless he hangs out in that industrial park all day, you know, I don't know how he's going to get back to the foothills there.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely, I was telling Heather as well when she brought this up, because it was just before recording, that there was a black bear spotted a mile from me as well. And I mean, I'm out hiking and walking and doing trails and stuff, and we have the signs everywhere, you know, beware, there's a bear. And where this bear was located is nowhere near any of that. I mean, there's trees and stuff over there, but it's definitely like housing structure, community area. And so it's kind of like, dang, I wouldn't have even been on guard, guys. I would have been just hanging out. At least, like,
you need
when
to
I go on the
carrying your safely spray.
That's what I was going to say earlier, too, is that's a perfect little spot to say that right now, and this will be done. Maybe I shouldn't say this. This will be done by the time this episode comes out. But they're having a sale on their pepper sprays right now.
I saw that.
It's the buy the 3 bundle and you get 1 free, which is freaking awesome. You guys, we're still an affiliate of Safely right now, and we do have a code. It's like Mother if you guys want to get 10% off. But we highly recommend stuff like that because not only their stuff is super cute, but it is the feeling of being secure and safe and being able to, like, take care of yourself. Yes, that's a pepper spray. When they were talking to us in the interview, they talked about how the percentage of it was high enough that it is actually deemed a bear spray as well. Like, it could be that as well. So know that when you're buying your stuff. And then also their sidekick is just, like, genius for anyone who's out and about. So I love that stuff. Little segue for that.
We need to ask the Safely girls who they choose, a bear or a man.
Oh, they already answered that.
Did they?
Yeah, on their Instagram. They chose
I haven't been on.
Neither. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know if they answered that already. I'm just making a joke. But, yeah, that was trending. Shit. Yeah, I'm going to say neither. I just don't want to see anything while I'm out and about. Like, not at all. Not at all.
Although if I saw a panda bear, I'd probably be okay and very happy. Or a koala bear.
Not me, because that means I'm nowhere near home. And how did I get there? How did I just teleport to where pandas are, okay? That is so freaking random. Oh, man. Okay, what I did need to say at the beginning of this episode, and I forgot to say, when I came to log in to our recording this morning, I logged on, I sat in my chair, I looked up, and the title of this recording had just blew my mind. Like, instantly, I think that's why I have all of this hype inside of me right now. Listen to this. The title Heather put is A Murder, a Mama, a Drama, Bahama. What? Whatever that is, I'm here for it, okay? I need to hear more.
I'm so happy you're here for it. I'm here for it, too. I thought this was, honestly, this will probably be a pretty quick episode, you guys, because I thought there would be more to report on at this point in time, but you guys will see why. And the other thing is that, spoiler alert, nobody actually dies. I know the murder is in the title, but no one actually dies, which is going to make this for our purposes a little more. It's a little lighter than some of our episodes. Absolutely. So I'm excited for it, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Well, I'm ready to
get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Was the tall, handsome college football player. She was the blonde former beauty queen cheerleader. The couple met at Auburn University in 2007 and married in 2010, becoming Mr. and Mrs. Robert and Lindsay Shiver. They were the picture-perfect couple. Over a decade of marriage, 3 kids, a $2.5 million home, more like mansion in Georgia.
Sheesh.
And a house in the Bahamas they could fly to on their private jet. All thanks to Robert's family wealth and his executive VP position at a life insurance company.
Yeah, they're living real comfortable. They're living real nicely at the beginning of this story.
At the beginning of this story.
Man.
Keyword there.
Yeah. Not with, I mean, with that title up there, I'm not sure how comfortable anyone is, but from what you just read, that sounds nice.
That sounds so nice. This sounds like the nicest life. So then how did Lindsay end up in jail in the Bahamas, accused of planning to murder her husband, Robert?
Shit. Things went south.
Just a bit. Not just south geographically from Georgia to Bahama. Ooh. Actually, I don't even know if that's south. I know it's south-ish. It might be like southwest or southeast. But south. West. For the sake of my joke, let's say not just south geographically, but south figuratively as well.
Yes. Okay. We're going south. This episode has gone south.
This episode has gone south already.
Sounds about right. For any of you guys that enjoy the shit show, thank you for staying with us.
This is now the Southern shit show.
Yes.
Well, this is a recent one. It all started in 2023. So, in February 2023, Lindsay went on a solo trip to the Bahamas. Mom's getaway, apparently, if you will. When she returns, literally like days after she gets back, there's a 911 call. Robert had called 911. He explains that Lindsay had cut off his phone line. Like, she had gone directly to the provider, cut off his phone. And basically, he doesn't know what's going on, but he does want to just go to his house and pick some clothes up and if he needs to and just like get out. But he's worried that if he goes there, Lindsay will try to, quote, set me up. So Robert indicates that he thinks Lindsay might, if he shows up at the house, that Lindsay might call the cops, claim that he's being like irate or aggressive, and he doesn't want like basically he's like, I don't want my kids to see me hauled off by cops for whatever reason. So he's trying to avoid a potential situation, and he's pretty much asking for an escort to his own home at this point.
All right.
Because he's not sure like where Lindsay's head's at.
No, I think he's very sure. If he's asking for an escort, he's pretty damn sure of where her head's at.
You're right.
That's how I see it. He knows where his head's at and where it wants to be, and he knows where hers is.
Very true, very true.
Smart move on his part.
Yes. But like in many marriages, they had these ups and downs because by March, the whole family was headed to the Bahamas together. So they had gone to the Bahamas end of March, early April on a kind of spring break trip.
Okay.
But as soon as they get back from their family trip to the Bahamas, Robert files for divorce.
Okay.
Back and forth.
Yeah, it just makes me think, okay, so we tried, whatever. And
yeah,
he's like, after that vacation, definitely ain't trying no more.
I'm done. So according to Robert, Lindsay had engaged in, quote, adulterous conduct. Apparently, that house in the Bahamas wasn't quite the luxurious blessing you'd think it was. Lindsay had allegedly met a man while staying at their tropical vacation home. His name was Terrence Bethel, and he was a 28-year-old local from the Bahamas.
Okay.
And when Robert found out about the alleged affair, he filed for divorce.
Good for him. We highly recommend the filing when it comes down to that instead of the murder. How you said there is none of that right now.
There you go.
I'm proud of him.
There you go.
We are pro fight for your marriage and try to support. But when you can't do that, don't kill him. Is what we're about.
When done is done, let's head to divorce court.
Yes,
not criminal court,
please.
So, Robert requested joint custody. He requested the house, and he actually requested a restraining order against Lindsay. The next day, Lindsay counters filing her own divorce papers, saying that the relationship she had been in was during their separation, and Robert knew about it.
Oh, did he?
Apparently.
That's hard, because, I mean, I need to know more. Because I'm like... Yeah. I also don't believe in separation. It's a he said, she said situation. Yeah, it's definitely a he said, she said situation. But the fact is, she did go in February to the Bahamas by herself. Yes.
Maybe that was like a getaway. Maybe they needed some time apart, so she did that. And then, when she returns, Robert's saying, okay, she's kind of, something's happening. She's cutting off my phone, yada, yada. But then they go on a family vacation together. Now, maybe, they're doing a family thing because it's their kids' spring break and they're just trying to have that. And maybe they were, quote unquote, separated during this time. They're just doing a family vacation. But we don't know. So Lindsay did file for divorce, and she also claimed that her husband had been physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive.
Well, shit. I'd go to the Bahamas, too.
Yeah, bye. So a few weeks later, Robert again calls 911 because, and this is just right after they filed for the divorce, he had received a thumb drive delivered to him at work, and another replica of this thumb drive had been delivered to his parents' house. On the thumb drive, there were pictures of Lindsay from their recent trip to the Bahamas. So when I think the way he's indicating it and the way the timeline lines up, it's from when they went on their family trip during spring break to the Bahamas. And the pictures look like they were taken by a private investigator. Like they're candid shots from far away.
Okay. And you said those were delivered to his house and to
him and his parents.
Okay.
Which is weird because they checked with people they know. He did actually hire a PI not too long after they got a divorce, I think, or right before the divorce. Around that time, he did hire a PI, but he said he checked with his PI, and there's no reason and it was an anonymous letter. So if it was by his hired PI, it wouldn't have needed to be anonymous, right? But it shakes him a little, and he says, well, I'm worried it might be a stalker or something like that. And he's basically just asking, because even though they filed for divorce at this point, they are still living in the house together.
Right.
And he's basically asking for an increased police presence, maybe a few drive-bys by their residence, just to check and make sure everything's okay, because he's worried about a stalker, because there's these pictures of his wife that have been anonymously sent to him.
Yeah, understandable.
So that part is very weird. This next part isn't quite so weird as just bitter and petty. Quite honestly petty. But later that same month, so the same month that the divorce was filed, this one is particularly ridiculous. 3 911 calls and body cam footage just shows how out of hand things were all getting. And in my head, I'm just thinking about these poor 3 young boys. I just can't. The youngest one, I think, was about 4, 4, 5-ish.
Right.
I just can't. I just don't. I feel so bad for them.
I hate that. We just hate each other. Yeah. That's fine. Do what you have to do to, keep your children safe in all of the ways so that this is not something, it's already something that's going to, affect them. But doing it in a way that is like this affects them so much more. Okay, wait, but so you said there's body cam and there's other things, right? But he filed for a restraining order. So, why is there any sort of...
So get this. So the body cam footage that came out, it shows Lindsay standing in a parking lot in her Lululemons in this weird kind of standoff with her in-laws. She seems to be on one side of the parking lot, and they keep gesturing over across to the other side of the parking lot. Okay. So she explains that Robert had been with the kids all weekend and had actually been hanging out with her family. So he had taken them on a trip to visit her family, pretty much. While one report I read was while she had been on a trip in the Bahamas.
Okay.
And she now wants her kids back, and she has called the cops to kind of as a witness, meet up with her in-laws because she wants her kids, but Robert was going to drop the kids with his parents. Robert was going to drop the kids with grandma and grandpa, but she says, no, they have no rights to the kids. I want my kids back. And apparently Robert has the kids with him currently, and she is trying to basically intervene the handoff between Robert and the grandparents.
Yeah, stuff like this, I don't know all of the, I should look into stuff like this. I don't know how all of it works court-wise and custody-wise, and my thing is these things need to be happening so quickly, fast, as soon as people go in, because in my uninformed, like I just said, I don't know a lot about this. And if you do, please come and share it with me. Teach me. Let me know. But I would assume that these things don't happen very quickly. And so if this is the situation, guess what? My first thought is, well, he can't keep her. Just because she's hanging out with some other guys, she's still the mom. Should she do it? Absolutely not. But you don't get to keep the child from their mother, and you don't get to keep the child from their father. So something has to be done, and it has to be done quickly from a court standpoint so that these two parents don't get to hold, out from one another, I guess. So anyways,
there needs, and that's what's hard is this happened the same month that the divorce was filed. Obviously, he had filed for joint custody of the kids, but I agree with you that there should be immediately upon, and maybe they had tried, but they couldn't agree. They need to say, immediately for at least the next month, for the next 30 days, this is the plan we're going to agree on because, and they just need to get that done so that you don't run into this because she had called the cops. The in-laws, the parents had also called the cops. They stated that Lindsay was following them, harassing them, threatening them, and she had a gun. Now, we're in Georgia, so if she did have a gun, I bet you it wasn't illegal. I bet you she had whatever she needed to have a gun. It's Georgia. But Lindsay, she said none of that's true and that her in-laws, quote, have mental issue. They come back saying, actually, Lindsay's the one with mental issues. She's on drugs. They say that Lindsay's own mother had actually told them that Lindsay was on drugs and she's not well. And then you have Robert, who had also called 911, pretty much saying the same story as his parents, that his parents told him Lindsay had been following them around and that his mom, or Lindsay's mom, had told him that Lindsay needed to be checked into a mental institute because she was unstable. So, they always say there's 3 sides to every story. Seems like in this version, there's 6 sides of
so many sides. This is a so many-sided story.
But just imagine the situation. So, the 3 kids are with dad. They're driving home from a weekend that they just spent with mom's family. Dad says, hey, I'm going to drop you off with Grandma and Grandpa. Mom's going, no, you're not. So instead of being able to just do a handoff with Grandma and Grandpa, now Grandma, Grandpa, and Mom are in a standoff in the parking lot with cops going in between this car and that car trying to figure things out. Dad is, I don't know, probably down the street or driving around trying to figure out what he's going to do because he doesn't want to just bring the kids there. It's crazy.
That is
crazy.
And then
this kind of behavior doesn't stop. So that was in April. Fast forward a few months to July 16th. More body cam footage. So, like I said, the divorce had been filed, but they were still living in the same house. Lindsay had called the police, and she reported that Robert had pushed her during a confrontation. The fight centered around an upcoming family trip to the Bahamas. So, from what I can gather from the body cam footage, Lindsay wanted to hitch a ride to the Bahamas on their private jet, but not to go with the family and be with the kids. But according to Robert, she wanted to hitch a ride and then go hang out with her boyfriend.
Yeah. I'm not liking it.
Yeah. And so in this body cam footage, you can just see the amount of petty, because what happens is, this is from what I can gather. The kids' backpacks were in Lindsay's car. Robert is trying to get the backpacks and the suitcases into his vehicle so that he can take the trip to the Bahamas with his kids. Lindsay is like blocking the vehicle. And then she says that he pushed her to get to the suitcases. So then the cops show up and Robert starts gathering the kids, putting them in the car and grabbing the suitcases out of the car and putting them in his vehicle. And then this is what literally you can see on the body cam footage. Lindsay goes, well, can I now take the suitcases out and put them back in my car? She's asking the cops, like, and the cops are literally like, well, why would you want to do that though? How is this going to solve anything? Right. And just imagine, like, being the kid in the back of the car, seeing sad. The cops there. I mean, luckily no one's got raised voices or anything. They're being calm, but you're a kid. You're seeing the cops there. You see your dad trying to move stuff. You see your mom moving stuff back. That cannot be, good for anybody involved.
Yeah, no. Definitely
don't
do that.
Yeah, definitely do not do that. But remember that date. That happened on July 16th. Okay?
July 16th.
Less than a week later, on July 21st, Lindsay somehow made it to the Bahamas. I don't know if she did end up getting on the private jet or if she went herself, but she did get to the Bahamas, and she's actually arrested in the Bahamas along with 2 alleged co-conspirators.
Oh, shit.
Here we go.
This is making me very frustrated, but also
we're about to get to
it. Okay.
So officers were investigating.
Who's Terrence's friend? 2 co-conspirators? Now I'm tripping. Okay, go.
Terrence's friend. You got it. So officers were investigating an unrelated break-in at a local bar and grill in the Bahamas. One source, this was an early report, so it may have just gotten it wrong, but said that Lindsay worked there. I have the feeling Lindsay didn't actually work, let alone at a bar. But another source said that Terrence worked there. So that's the one I kind of buy more. Either way, police had been investigating this break-in, and they had a suspect for the crime. One of the suspects for the crime was Terrence. So the cops were going through Terrence's phone to try to gather evidence on this break-in. Lo and behold, they accidentally stumble upon some WhatsApp phone messages that detail out a plan to kill Robert.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So thankful for this moment. I've never been more thankful for a break-in in my life, okay? Like, no offense to that family, but I am so thankful that this happened. Holy cannoli.
Right?
Check all their phones. Check everyone's phone every time.
This break-in uncovered a murder plot. Imagine being the cop who found those messages. He's looking through the phone. He clicks on WhatsApp. He's looking through, trying to find evidence of, him saying he was going to break into this place. And lo and behold, it's this.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
So it's crazy because these messages, they included pictures of Robert and a message that read, quote, "Kill him."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Court documents indicated that these messages were sent on July 16th.
Yeah, she was in a bad mood that day.
She was in a very bad mood that day. Calling cops and then also sending kill him messages.
Yeah. Apparently she was pushed to her breaking point. Because
they should have let her take those freaking suitcases out of his car.
Wow, what a wild discovery this investigator found. And
I know. Imagine.
Wow, okay.
Imagine.
That is crazy.
So I'm going to say this once right now, and then I'll say it again afterwards. But everything I'm about to say is allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. She has not been convicted of this. But Lindsay allegedly plotted to kill her husband with her, I will say alleged lover, even though he later specifically says, yes, we were together, with her alleged lover, Terrence Bethel.
Possibly, sort of, maybe 100%, definitely, allegedly confirmed.
Yeah. And Lindsay and Terrence together allegedly planned the murder for hire using another local 29-year-old. In some sources, he's described as a hitman. But from what else I've found is that he's a friend of Terrence's. He's actually well known in the area. His family, I guess, is pretty well known, and he was an aspiring rapper and music producer. They talk to his cousin. When they talk to anyone about this kid, they say he's a really hard worker. He's a good kid. I don't know, but his name is Farron Nabold. So they were going to allegedly use him as a hitman.
Okay.
One more time. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay. Now, here's what's not alleged. When they questioned Lindsay, when they ran across these text messages and then they questioned Lindsay about sending the text messages, she outwardly admitted to sending the text messages, specifically saying that she did, in fact, tell Terrence Bethel and Farron Nabold that she wanted to kill her husband. She admitted to sending the text message.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, man. You sent them. You said it. Mm-hmm. Whether you were frustrated and were you kidding? Were you making a joke?
I'll get to that, but yeah. So in August, after a few weeks at this apparently pretty gnarly jail in the Bahamas, Lindsay was released on $100,000 bail.
Okay.
Her accomplices had been released a bit earlier on $20,000 each. Interestingly, in order for them all to get bail, Robert actually had to approve of it, and he did. So that, again, just goes to show that he's obviously not okay with what happened, and maybe it's a good thing that he had taken out that restraining order, but he still didn't want the mother of his kids to be sitting in a jail, because he had to sign off on her being allowed to get bail. Okay. So they were arrested in the Bahamas, and they were required to stay there, which is not a problem, for Terrence and Farron, who are, native locals there. But Lindsay is now required to stay into the Bahamas, and they said until the court date, which was scheduled for October. So that was a preliminary hearing, that October date, that October date rolls around. Lindsay's lawyers actually asked that the legal proceedings be sped up, you know, because she's in the Bahamas.
She don't want to be there.
She's not
she
from there.
Right.
Yeah. But things were postponed a little further. The prosecutors had needed to still file something. Anyway, it wasn't until December of that year that she was able to enter a plea. So December 2023, all three of them plead not guilty of conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah, of course they do. Saw that coming.
Yeah. While they were awaiting their trial date, which was supposed to be set for March of this year, March of 2024, they had to stay in the Bahamas. So they had ankle monitors. They were supposed to check in like 3 times a week. They
Lindsay
needed
as
to
well.
stay local.
Lindsay's there. Okay.
Lindsay as well.
Still
Lindsay
there.
as well.
Okay.
Eventually, though, a judge did allow Lindsay to go back to Alabama, where her family was for the Christmas holiday. So in December of 2023, the judge did say, okay, you can go back to Alabama for the holidays. You can stay in Alabama until the trial begins, which it was set for March. But they said you have to stay in Alabama. You know, Robert's in Georgia. Obviously, you can't talk to Robert during this time. So that was in December. It did not take long for Lindsay to stir things up, though, when she was back
like, how
in the
long
States.
until she went to Georgia? The devil went down to Georgia.
In January, okay. So weeks, she claimed that her husband was, quote, withholding access to their children and that she was cut off from their money.
That wasn't in the, so real quick about the kids, in that agreement of her going to Alabama, do you not know if there was any sort of hey, you can't see your kids for this time as well?
I don't think that was part of the agreement because it's the Bahamian court that's saying you are allowed to return to your home, but the crime that she has been charged with has to deal with Robert, not with the kids. So saying you need to stay away from Robert. And so she's claiming that, you know, that's fine. I'm staying away from Robert, but he still can't keep my kids from me. But at this point, what you have to remember is they had filed for divorce in April. All of this was going on. She's been in the Bahamas and or in jail since July. So, you know, I'm guessing that a lot of those divorce and custody proceedings had been put on hold.
Right. And
so they probably still don't have a set agreement on kids and hands-offs and stuff like that.
Crazy.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, this is kind of like a side note. Not too long after his estranged wife's arrest and subsequent jailing time, Robert had started seeing Savannah Chrisley, who you may know from the show Chrisley Knows Best.
What?
Yeah. And for any of you listeners who don't know about this show, maybe it will ring a bell if I tell you about the fact that Savannah Chrisley's parents, like the stars of this show, were convicted for fraud and also put in jail. When did that happen? Maybe last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was recent. That's for sure. I don't know all of their stuff, but that is crazy. Look, there's so many people that are connected that you just don't even, like, it's nuts. It's nuts.
It's so nuts. But anyway, back to the case at hand. I just thought that was an interesting little side note. Like I said, the trial was supposed to start in March. It actually ended up getting pushed to July 1st of 2024. So what is happening? It's July, right?
Yes.
As of this recording, it's July 2nd. I think this episode will actually come out kind of later July, but sorry guys. The trial got pushed again and is now set for October 2024. So I thought I would have a little bit more to give you guys with the trial having supposed to be started yesterday. And of course, that would have meant there's a bunch of pre-trial things that would have happened, you know, earlier this summer. We will have to wait until fall to find out more. But going back to your point, Rachel, about, oh, was she joking? That is what the defense team is claiming. Now, the defense team is technically representing all three. They are co-defendants. They are all together on this. And the defense team is claiming that the whole plot that they found in these WhatsApp messages wasn't serious. They were a joke. And according to Terrence Bethel, the alleged, not so alleged lover, he says that the messages were being exaggerated and that, quote, everyone says things out of frustration.
Yeah, I joke about killing people all the time. I get it. Okay, you can say things out of frustration. You just had the cops at your house. Your husband just took your kids. I want to kill him. But what I can't get past is the fact that she sent photos of her husband. Yeah, that part is really weird.
Why would you ever send photos of your husband to your alleged lover and his friend?
Are they confirmed to be the exact same time? Do you know if those timestamps were correctly within the time frame on July 16th or June?
They were definitely on July 16th.
The photos, okay. Because I was going to say, if they pulled that from a different date, like, for example, how apparently, so if she went there on her own in February, she starts hooking up with this guy because they're apparently separated, whatever. Then they go on a family trip. She sends the pictures of him to Terrence so that he knows who to look out for, so that whenever they're trying to sneak around.
This guy run the other way.
So I was like, look,
that's a good point.
It sounds like I've done this before, huh? Which I have not. I would like to make that clear.
That's like a good point.
No, that's like why I wanted to know if it was definitely like, hey, same day, hey, kill him, here are photos of him, this is who you need to go find. It's different than, God, I freaking hate him, you know?
Yeah. And I totally see that. And that could be a great argument for the defense. But from what I can gather, and this is why I wish the trial had started, because then we would be seeing a lot more evidence pop up in the last few months. But from what I can gather, there's a court document saying that on July 16th, Lindsay, Terrence, and Farron, was that his name?
Farron, yeah.
It was Farron, right?
The other guy, Terrence's friend, the 29-year-old, Farron.
Nebold. Yeah, Farron. Mm-hmm. The court documents say that on July 16th, Lindsay, Terrence, and Farron were involved in this conspiracy to commit murder against, and the court document actually names him as Richard Shiver. Apparently it was supposed to be Robert, but that is, and so what I can tell is those photos, the kill him text, it all definitely happened on July 16th. But we shall see. We shall see when the trial starts what the actual timeline for is that.
That's the job I want. I want to go through all of that stuff and look into those things.
Yeah. So Terrence, he also said that the couple's marriage had been struggling for a while. And last year, right after they were released on bond, he actually gave a quote to, I think it was the Daily Mail. And it said, I love her. Everyone knows we're together. We weren't hiding it. And he says that she was a good mom and that he has too much respect for her to want to hurt the father of her children. Okay. So like I said, I was excited to cover this case. I still am excited to cover this case, but I was excited to cover it now because I thought I would be able to provide some updates right away for you guys, kind of give you guys live updates of the trial as things are happening. But looks like we're going to have to wait until October. Obviously, if anything happens between now and then, any preliminary things, I will be sure to let everyone know. But for now, that is all I have on the mama who plotted murder in Bahama.
A murder, a mama, a drama, Bahama. Yeah, you know what? I actually enjoy these here and there too, because it gives people something to look forward to, start looking into as well, and kind of wait for, because we get a lot of feedback whenever we come and bring those updates on certain cases we talk about. So this will definitely be one of them. That's for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Man, October,
for sure.
That's a long time away. I need it now.
That is a long time away, but it makes me feel like over the next few months, we will get some evidence that starts cropping up. This is what prosecution's going to put into evidence. This is what the defense team is claiming. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm going to do my best. I have a feeling I might struggle a little bit, though. This is a court in the Bahamas, and so it's not far off from the U.S. system. It's actually based, I believe, it's technically because they're tied to Great Britain, so I think it's similar to their structure. But I was watching one of the news sources and says, yeah, it's similar to Great Britain, but they don't wear the wigs. So, it's very similarly structured, but I think they do things a little bit differently. And it being an international case, we're gonna have to follow it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Damn, crazy. That one's crazy. I need to go look at these people. I can see if they're guilty by looking in them. In the eyes. I need to go look.
I will send you the link. So, y'all, I got a lot of my information from Court TV. They covered this case a lot. They had a reporter in the Bahamas constantly covering whenever an update would happen.
Was it Jesse Weber?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me see. Hold on, I want to look it up now.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
His name was Matt Jetson or something. But Court TV had a lot of great footage, and they actually did one that has a really great timeline of these events and includes a lot of those 911 calls, as well as I believe it was actually another podcast that was able to get the body cam footage of the July 16th debacle at the house, as well as the body cam footage from the debacle that happened in April. And when you watch just the body language and you hear it, it's just so petty, and you just feel so bad for these three boys who, the younger one, maybe he's not picking up on all of it. He's definitely picking up on tension. I believe, like I said, I think he's 4-ish. But the older one has to be able to pick up, on what's going on.
They're
so
all
I just
affected.
feel so bad for those
kids. They're all
kids.
affected so much. It's so sad. So freaking sad. I hate stuff like that. Wow. That is crazy, Heather. And now I need to add this to the list of things that I need to keep on my radar. Like, the fact that Karen Reed's trial went yesterday to mistrial, and I'm just like, okay, now I gotta wait for more of that shit?
I know!
Stop adding these things on me. I'm exhausted. It's heavy. Just
my
kidding.
Google alerts have been popping.
Seriously, every time my phone makes, there's this one, news, I don't know. That's such a bad example of what it sounds like. But every time that goes off, I'm just like, oh, what is it? I need to see it now.
What happened now?
Yeah. And it's a bear in Chatsworth.
That's what it is. I'm telling you.
Oh, man. That is crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right. Well, you will keep us updated with that as it happens. For sure. I'm glad you brought it. Like I said, don't wait on those things. Let's talk about it and then get back into it after things happen. All right.
For sure.
Next week, I have a crazy case for you guys. It is bringing us back into heavy, and it's unsolved, and it's local.
Oh, boy.
So there's a few bomb drops for you guys. All right.
Okay.
Yep. Stay tuned for that. And Heather, I hope that you are having an amazing summer so far with all of your parties and all of the things that you're doing. It is hot. It is hot. Stay inside, away from the bears if you can.
Yeah.
And
seriously,
if you see them, just go away from them. Don't go up to the gate and chain link fence and stand as close as you possibly can. And that's scary. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that, Heather. Stay inside.
Okay. No problem.
All right. Well, until next week, have the best week ever. Make sure that you guys carry your safely self-defense bear pepper sprays. Make sure that you only go to the Bahamas and, hook up
Just
with other people if you're actually single.
Yeah.
Don't plot
and don't
murder.
Just how about just as a general rule of thumb, just never text the words "kill him," and just don't do that.
Yeah, it's probably a really good idea not to do that.
Unless you're talking about like a scary bug, then go for it.
Oh, but if they send the picture of the bug, then there's that other, okay? All right, we will talk to you guys next week. Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.